As you can tell by today's title, we're going to be exploring into the world of milk snakes. So buckle up your seatbelts and come join us on this journey. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Josue from Josue's Exotics, and if you're new to the channel, we make videos about reptiles and amphibians and how to take care of them, just like this video here. So if this strikes your interest, consider subscribing. So today we're going to be talking about milk snakes, more specifically Pueblan milk snakes. Their scientific name is Lampripeltis triangulum campbelli, or more commonly known as the Campbell's milk snake or the Pueblan milk snake. The word Lampripeltis is derived from the ancient Greek word lampro, bright, and the word peltis for shield. And this is referring to the certain sheen or shine that the scales of these creatures tend to have. The species name triangulum comes from the Latin word for triangle, and this is referring to the fact that most of these snakes are tricolored. The subspecies name campbelli comes from the herpetologist that originally found these creatures, Jonathan A. Campbell. The Pueblan milk snake is a tricolored snake containing bands of red, yellow, and black. With the adult Pueblan milk snakes reaching lengths of 36 to 48 inches, these snakes are what you would call a Batesian mimic. And this is due to the fact that the milk snake shares parts of its geographic range with several species of venomous coral snake. For those of you that don't know, Batesian mimicry is a form of mimicry where a harmless species such as the Pueblan milk snake has evolved the ability to imitate the warning signals or coloration of a harmful or venomous species like the coral snake. This basically helps the snake to protect itself from potential predators and other dangers in its environment. Coral snakes are a part of a large group of snakes in the Lapidae family, with some examples being the Micrurus tenor and the Micrurus fulvius, the Texas coral snake, and the eastern coral snake. But the Pueblan milk snake can be easily distinguished from its other counterparts like the Sinaloan milk snake and the Honduran milk snake. So moving on to habitat, collectively milk snakes have a pretty wide geographical range, from Canada in the north all the way to Ecuador in the south. The Pueblan milk snake can actually be found in southern Puebla, eastern Morelos, and northern Oaxaca, Mexico. And they can occupy a range of habitats from forests to mountains to rainforests to deserts. If you enjoying the video so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below so that way you can keep up with all my latest content coming out on the channel. I just want to remind you guys, if you'd like to donate and help fund the channel, you can come join us over on Patreon, where it's only going to cost you $1 and it helps me out a whole lot. Once you're on our Patreon page, you'll be able to see some of our Patreon-only videos where we're going to have bloopers and other things like that you'll be able to see. We're also going to be doing some live streams on there, and you can also check out some of our cool merchandise we're going to have coming out in the future. So make sure you guys go check it out. I have a link down in my description if you guys would go ahead and hit that and become a patron today. So over the years, milk snakes, specifically the Pueblan milk snake, has risen in popularity a whole lot, and now they're widely available captive bred. I always tend to go the captive bred route because these animals tend to be a little bit more tamer and a whole lot nicer and have better temperaments with themselves compared to the wild caught snakes. And also this helps to keep us from taking animals from the wild, so that way we can increase our wild populations of certain animals. This is very specific with high import animals like turtles and other things like that, which we are doing tremendous damage on these guys. Since these guys come from a variety of different environments, the care for these animals can be fairly simple. If you haven't seen my previous milk snake care guide, I'll put a link in the top right side of the screen so you guys can go check that out. Also, if there's anything you guys would like me to add in the next care guide, tell me down in the comments. So as mentioned before, the Pueblan milk snake is one of the larger milk snakes, and they can max out around 4 to 5 feet. So as adults, these guys do fairly well in a 40-gallon tank, and as babies, you can probably start them out in a 10-gallon aquarium and then upgrade them later on as they grow. Currently right now I'm housing my milk snake in an Terra Outback style terrarium, and I'll put Amazon links to all the decor and the actual terrarium itself down in the description, so that way you guys can go check it out and get some for yourself. Since they're more of a burrowing species of snake, the height aspect is not so much a big deal to these guys, and they will love more substrate for digging, which means a loose substrate would be ideal for this species. Personally, I don't like aspen bedding. It doesn't really hold humidity very well, so I use a mixture of cypress mulch and eco earth. So moving on to the next thing that you'll need to get for your milk snake is you need to include a lot of hides. Most snakes are very private creatures and enjoy a very solitary lifestyle, so it's very good to include a lot of these. Currently, I'm using some half logs, and I have a gecko cave hide that works really well for a humid hide since this has a two-piece setup. You can actually fill it up with moss and other things like that and wet it beforehand, and there you go. A bioactive setup isn't really necessary for these guys, so I just have a couple fake plants in here. Like I said, if you want to check them out, I got the links down in the description. And lastly, these guys are going to need a water bowl just like any other animal. Preferably something large enough so that the snake can submerge its entire body to soak in if they choose to do so. As far as heating and humidity goes, this can be achieved relatively easy using a heating pad and a reptile mister. The recommended resources online, they say to use around 85 degrees for the hot side and maybe 75 degrees for the cooler side. And then also these guys can enjoy humidities around 60 to 80%. These guys, like most snakes, feed on rodents. But with these guys being king snakes, they possibly eat other snakes as well. But right now I'm feeding my Pueblan milk snake Peter 2 pinky mice once a week. Unlike ball pythons, with these kind of snakes, you really don't want to feed them larger prey items until they actually get bigger. So I just started feeding them 2 instead of 1 to help give them a little bit more nutrition. This is due to the fact that the jaws and everything in colubrids are made a whole lot different compared to actual pythons. So overall, these are some pretty cool little snakes in my opinion, and I would highly recommend anybody to get one in the future if you think about getting into reptiles and amphibians. Don't forget to go join us over on Patreon, where it's only going to cost you $1 to come help donate to fund this channel and to help increase awareness of reptiles and amphibians through this. If you'd like to see some more of my videos, I'll put some links over here on the right side of the screen, so you guys go check those out, and we'll see you on the next video.